Hi everyone, this is Benny and Amy. Today, we're honored to present to you our research on BTS diplomatic performances as instruments of South Korea's soft power and their varied audience receptions across different countries. We will be focusing on two emblematic moments: BTS at the United Nations in 2021 and at the White House in 2022. We identify these events do more than just entertain, as they were orchestrated and received as acts of cultural diplomacy towards South Korea's soft power. Here's our agenda today. We'll first clarify what soft power means and how Korea enacts it through their pop culture. We will then delve into the current research and identify the knowledge gap our study addresses. After that, we will provide our research so far on the two BTS case events, and discuss impacts about how BTS may shape Korea's global image, along with introducing our specific methodology and next steps. As we have mentioned about soft power, what is actually soft power? It refers to the capacity to influence through attraction and persuasion rather than coercion, which is rooted in culture, political values, and foreign policy, and often communicated via symbols, narratives, and performances. Soft power is distinct from hard power, which lies on military and economic lenses. It can be cultivated through business and innovation, culture, government, diplomacy, entertainment, and education, as shown on the right.
Before we delve into our analysis of BTS diplomatic events, it's important to understand why celebrity diplomacy matters so much for South Korea. According to Matosha 2021, South Korea is often described as a middle power nation, one that relies heavily on cultural diplomacy as a key tool of influences. In this context, the government presents Hanyeo, the Korean wave, as a national brand. This form of diplomacy works by placing idols at international venues to embody national values, showing entertainment at global mega events, such as the example of the K-pop group Girls' Day performing in black silk dresses. During Korea's presentation at 2014 Sochi Winter Olympics handover, an event that drew global attention for its bold staging. This is meant to signal Korea's creative economic strength and to mobilize transitional fandoms as volunteer amplifiers. Seeing this context helps us to understand BTS' appearance on the global stage are never random. They are part of a broader national strategy. For the state of knowledge, current scholars broadly agree that K-pop has become a key factor of South Korea's soft power. For example, the policy pivot towards celebrity-driven diplomacy, while the field's ongoing debates over defining and merging soft power itself, the capacity to attract and cooperate through culture. In these discursive frames, K-pop operates at the junction of culture and economic power, with idols increasingly pressing into service of public diplomats at international venues. Sheffield, 2025.
The state of knowledge has led us to the knowledge gaps we found. Despite rich commentary on K-pop diplomacy, much scholarship treats Hallyu as a single monolithic phenomenon, as they have largely overlooked the very targeted audiences witnessing, leaving little granularity by act. What's often missing are close case-specific analysis of particular diplomatic moments, and crucially, comparative evidence on how different national audiences read the very same performance. Our project addresses that gap by focusing on one group, BTS, and their diplomatic appearances at the United Nations and the White House, then comparing media and public reception across countries.
This all brings us to our research question: how does a single idol group, BTS, and their high-profile diplomatic performances, especially the 2021 UN appearance and the 2022 White House visit, function as instruments of South Korea's soft power? And how do audience receptions differ across South Korea, the United States, Japan, and China? Now I will walk anyone through the two key BTS diplomatic events that our study focuses on. On the left, we have BTS at the United Nations in 2021 during the UN Sustainable Development Goals moment. BTS delivered a speech and performed as a Korean special envoys. This appearance was carefully staged to present BTS as cultural representative of Korean nation, and it reached a massive global audience. On the right is BTS at the White House in 2022. In this event, BTS made formal remarks in the White House press briefing room and met President Biden to discuss anti-Asian hate and discrimination. This was a highly symbolic act of celebrity diplomacy, positioning BTS as an intermediary between political leader and the global publics. Together, these two events offer rich and contrasting contexts, different countries, different political goals, and different audience responses, which is why they form the core case studies of our project.
But how do these two events of BTS shape Korea's soft power? We have proposed 3 provisional claims. First, BTS global reach put Korea on premier stages, multiplying their international visibility between national branding and everyday fandom. Second, their appearances sparked reactions not only from fans, but also grabbed cross-national attention from institutions and media, framing these events through lenses as enthusiasm, skepticism, or politicization. Third, in practice, BTS serve as cultural diplomats whose symbolic labor may bolster Korea's attractiveness, while also risking over-commercialization or controversy. Thus, BTS is analytically useful for a study because their large influence scale whose impacts are much bigger than most K-pop groups. Their cross-market visibility and organized transnational fandom all enable comparative inquiry, which divergent countries interpret BTS diplomatic moments differently. Also, studying BTS allows us to observe how the same performance travels, how reception varies by media system, and how celebrity diplomacy might generalize, or not, beyond just one single act. Moving towards our methods, our approach is both qualitative and comparative. The primary materials will be using our official videos and transcripts of each event. We will conduct media discourse analysis by sampling mainstream coverage from South Korea, the US, Japan, and China, coding tone, frames, and thematic content around the two events. We will also conduct content analysis on YouTube comments under the official UN and White House video, categorizing top comments by apparent country of origin and sentiment to understand audience interpretations and reactions. And all of our analysis will use only public materials, preserve anonymity in reporting, and follow platform terms. This analysis will also be guided by a soft power comparative framework described by Jing and Griggs, 2023.
To wrap up, our analysis shows that BTS diplomatic appearances give us a very clear example of how K-pop is orchestrated as a form of national soft power. These events reveal that cultural diplomacy doesn't land the same way everywhere. The reaction can be highly positive or quite critical, depending on how the media frames the moment and how different audiences interpret it. In understanding of these mixed reactions, we gain insight into how cultural diplomacy actually works across different public spheres. And this is especially significant when celebrities are involved. It becomes clear that there is more than just a reputation of Korea. There is real room here for broader conversations about politics, culture, and the national image. Overall, our study contributes a way of thinking about celebrity diplomacy as something co-produced, not only by the artists, but also by the institution and the audience who actively responds to these events. This framework can help both scholars and policymakers better understand how soft power works in today's media environment.
Thank you for listening.